Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone, actually.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk, where we're bringing the live action straight to you.
Live action.
Live action.
We're not going to have to do any jogging in place or anything, are we?
No, my boobs will hit me in the face. I can't do that. We had a great week. Tully's over there doing his thing. The Twitterverse and Morgana, welcome to the show. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and jump straight into it. You want to cover this Friday Feel Good?
I will. I loved the story when I got it. So, a giant Mars balloon escaped from the Kennedy Display Center today.
What?
And rolled out towards the highway. Yeah, they have this 30-foot high inflatable version of the planet Mars that's part of an exhibition at the Kennedy Center, and it rolled away. They had a video shared everywhere that showed the inflatable rolling from the Kennedy Center campus after breaking free due to the wind. And said that you can hear comments in the background going, is that intentional? And I don't think so. And then somebody else is like, oh my gosh, that's not on purpose. So the thing you see in the clip is the runaway on the highway, surrounded by cars going past it. You know, just a normal Thursday in our nation's capital.
Nice.
Yeah. Fortunately, it was quickly retrieved, which reported, there were no known related injuries from the incident and that it has since been returned. It's one of 3 inflatables, the others being the Earth and the Moon that make up the celestial bodies display. And it was created by the Czech Republic's Cubisec factory. And it says, gaze up at the 3 30-foot high inflatable models of Earth, the Moon, and Mars placed on the Reach Plaza around the Reach grounds. Well, I'm just wondering if it's gotten so bad here that Mars said, screw this planet, and it's moving on down the road.
Well, this is where they filmed all the videos. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry about that. There's a video associated with it that I was trying to get pulled up, but it also played the thing, And let's go ahead and get this up. This thing's actually a lot bigger than I thought. You don't really think 30 foot is that big, but look at that thing.
Yeah.
God,
that's like almost as high as a 3-story building, isn't
it? Yeah. Wow. There's the Earth and Moon. Look at that.
That's crazy.
If that would have caused any damage, God almighty. How much you got? I would have jumped in front of it, I think. But I need my monies today.
Yeah, I did make a comment. There was another story, and I don't know if we've got it listed to go into or not. But a jury gave a man a $50 million settlement from Starbucks because there wasn't a top on the coffee tight enough and it spilled in his lap. And he sued for pain and suffering and permanent disfigurement and embarrassment. And I thought that maybe you'd take one for the team. We'd let you have 50 and we'd split the other 50 amongst the 3 of us.
I think you got something down there to damage before you can.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to go with he probably didn't have to show proof in court. He probably just had the right doctor up there, willing to say. Hey, Linda.
People, you remember when the woman spilled the McDonald's coffee back in the 90s and everybody's making fun of her and stuff?
She had 3rd-degree burns.
Spilling hot coffee from these places on yourself will light your world on fire. like it ain't the same temperature as the coffee that comes out of your bun. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
Well, and here's the one thing that I do question a little bit. And like I said, I agree with you. Coffee's hot. But when I go to Starbucks, and yes, I'm sorry, I do go to Starbucks, I don't order hot often. But when I do, I have to specify and make it hot. Otherwise, they serve it at a much lower temperature because of that woman's lawsuit back in the 90s.
I would rather have McDonald's coffee than Starbucks.
I would too.
Yeah.
McDonald's coffee is tasty.
I really like. I prefer Dunkin's unless it's the one in London, Kentucky, because I mean,
well, what I usually get from there is chai tea. Cold chai tea, yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much my go-to Starbucks drink. If I want coffee, I will generally hit Starbucks because it costs less and it's a bigger cup.
No.
Yeah. Dunkin', all the Dunkins around here suck too. It always tastes burnt.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I actually thought that maybe the one in London might have been molded or something and I'm so like when I buy something, I'm like, I'm going to use this 100% no matter what.
Yeah.
So I went to this Dunkin' and I bought coffee and I was like, this tastes friggin' awful. And Mandy's like, don't drink it. I'm like, well, I bought it, so I'm drinking it. So, you know what I mean?
You just didn't burn it enough, Cecil. It didn't taste normal to you.
That's probably what it was, but we're getting a coffee place. I'm stoked.
What is it?
Like a 6th brew or something, 7th brew or something weird.
Okay.
I don't know why I even go because I can get the same Oregon chai mix for $5 a carton and I can get 4 drinks out of it. Or I can go get one Starbucks chai and get 1 drink out of it for $6. Well, same with coffee,
We have a bunch of coffee places here in town. One of them's a religious place. It's called Sacred Grounds. Very delicious, but I don't like paying $10 for iced coffee.
Right.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, I always will seek out. So the next closest thing to a McDonald's coffee is a Speedway coffee. Mm-hmm. And Buc-ee's also has really good coffee. I'm more of a gas station
I do.
McDonald's top person.
If it's hot, gas station.
Yeah, that in the past I have. My biggest problem with McDonald's or the service station is they don't have sugar free. I can get it from Starbucks or from Dunkin', and I can get it sugar free.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I just drink black coffee, so I don't.
Oh hell no, my dad did.
Yeah, I can't relate. I really have always just drank black coffee for the most part. I like some creamers though.
I'm not a big coffee fan, but I like. Coffee helps me focus. It does not make me hyped up. It doesn't make me jittery or any of that, but it does help me focus. So I guess that's the caffeine part of it. But like I said, I've got $100 in equipment and coffee and stuff sitting on my counter right now. So, I mean, I should just start getting up 15 minutes earlier and making my own.
We have a legitimate coffee station.
Yeah.
But, obviously, we touched a nerve on something we all feel passionate about.
Yeah.
I'm glad this guy won that money.
So at the top of the list for this week was to double back on a story that we had talked about a few months ago at this point. So you remember the whistleblower at OpenAI that killed himself?
Yeah.
So the big tech whistleblower, butcher his name, is like Sushir Balaji, an autopsy that his parents ordered says that he was shot twice in the head in his suicide. Yeah. As his parents made a bombshell claim this week. So just to catch you up, if you didn't know the original story, so the OpenAI whistleblower, so ChatGPT, he was found dead in his San Francisco apartment. In the Mint Hill neighborhood, November 26th, 2024, just a month after publicly revealing that the companies had questionable methods for training ChatGPT. His body was discovered next to his bathroom door with a gunshot wound to the head, blood spattered across part of the apartment, and the death was officially ruled a suicide by the San Francisco Chief Medical Examiner's Office. However, like we said previously, Balaji's parents firmly rejected the conclusion, insisting that their son was murdered in order to silence him. They funded a private autopsy and toxicology tests and additional analysis, uncovering what they claim is evidence of a cover-up, including a second gunshot missed by the initial autopsy.
Missed.
Missed. Although the full reports aren't public yet, they shared that CT scans analyzed by two independent radiologists revealed two gunshot wounds to Balaji's head, neither immediately fatal, with one bullet entering through the mouth and lodging at the skull base, as noted by Dr. Daniel Cousin of I can't pronounce that, Radsuri,
yeah, something like that.
In Weston, Florida. The second autopsy also revealed extensive injuries inconsistent with a suicide, according to his parents. They pointed to lacerations and discoloration on his tongue, which was a centralized oval-shaped defect, a broken cheekbone, and a wound on his knee with blood present, none of which were documented in the chief medical examiner's report. The doctor questioned the presence of a date rape drug, GHB, in his system at levels between 54,000 and 67,000 nanograms, alongside a blood alcohol level of 0.178, and it starts to get toxic around 0.2, which they argue was out of character for Balaji, who rarely drank heavily. They also noted clumps of Balaji's own hair, initially mistaken for synthetic hair, splattered around the bathroom and outside, raising further questions about the nature of his death. The doctor highlighted the downward angle of the forehead gunshot, which missed his brain and lodged in his neck, and the presence of a metal object in his skull that was not removed during the initial autopsy, arguing these details contradict the suicide ruling. Honestly, it's really sloppy if this was a hit job.
And it's sloppy if it wasn't in that first autopsy doctor.
Absolutely. So his parents also emphasized evidence suggesting their son had no suicidal tendencies. He was actively receiving job offers, including one from Jane Street for a machine learning role with a salary between $850,000 and $2 million a year. He was invited to speak at academic events, such as addressing the UC Berkeley. I'm sorry. Though he declined due to a vacation from November 16th to the 23rd. And the final footage of Balaji captured on November 22nd around 7:30 p.m. showed him appearing relaxed while collecting a DoorDash delivery of rice, meat, and vegetables, casually dressed in jeans, sneakers, a zip-up sweater, and earbuds, playing music. Earlier that day, another CCTV camera recorded him returning from a birthday holiday on Catalina Island around 1:33 local, carrying a large canvas bag and heading to his apartment's elevator. He spoke with his father from 7:12 till just before arriving home, discussing his dinner plans and a potential January meeting, showing no signs of distress. Yet his body wasn't discovered until 4 days later, following a welfare check requested by his worried parents, with police estimating his death occurring on the night of November 22nd. The official investigation found no evidence of foul play, noting the absence of a forced entry, which isn't, I mean, anybody can pick locks these days with the right tools.
If it was somebody he knew,
he could have let him in, yeah. Balaji's fourth floor apartment, only accessible via the front door. its windows restricting to a 4-inch opening. Security camera footage and key fob records indicated no one else entered during the likely time of his death. They say that gunshot residue was found on his hands, and said that his DNA was on the Glock that was present, with one spent casing in the chamber. The official autopsy said that it was confirmed that the bullets passed through his facial bones, skull sinuses, and C1 vertebra, caused a medulla high cervical spinal cord injury and C1 fracture, both potentially fatal without immediate treatment. However, Balaji's parents argue that he survived for some time, bleeding out on the floor. And there are very graphic pictures. If you look this up, you can see blood all over the place. That isn't consistent with really like gun blood spatter. It looks like somebody bleeding out almost. I lost my place. So
the apartment was ransacked.
Yeah, they noted that the apartment appeared ransacked, suggesting the killer searched for a storage device containing damning evidence, and pointed out that security cameras in the elevator, garage, and neighbors area weren't functioning, hinting at long-term planning for what they call a murder conspiracy. Despite the police closing the case, Balaji's family continues their investigation, supported by the lawyer, who is suing the city of San Francisco for a full police incident report. A second autopsy by Dr. Joseph Cohen, former chief forensic pathologist, noted a contusion on the back of Balaji's head, also supporting the claim of a struggle, though the full findings of both can't be disclosed yet, because I'm assuming that they're going to be suing the hell out of them.
Oh, hell yeah.
I hate to give any spoilers, but have you all watched the new second half of the final season of Yellowstone?
Mm-mm.
So everybody knows Kevin Costner's character had to be written off because he wasn't coming back. They had him killed in the show, and the way they did it was through this high price assassin agency where 3 guys snuck into his house and choked him out, drug him to the bathroom, and put a gun in his hand and made it look like he killed himself. That's what this sounds like something like that. That's so nuts.
Yeah.
And he was the governor in the show, so all the cameras in the area, everything went down too,
Yeah, a camera down, you're like, okay, but all the cameras down?
All cameras down, and you're talking about somebody who potentially has huge evidence on the largest AI company in the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Somebody has a lot of reasons to keep him quiet.
Yes.
That's so crazy.
I just feel so bad for Balaji's parents. They've been left to try to pick up the pieces for their son, and nobody wants to hear it. And it's unfortunate that we live in a society where these kind of things keep happening, like the Boeing whistleblowers that got executed. It keeps happening, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. At what point in history everybody was just like, what can we do? The police and everybody, they're just like, looks like a suicide.
I mean, if you're going to botch something, at least try to make it look like you did your job.
Yeah.
Because the things that were missed in the initial autopsy, I don't get it. Because one bullet went through and the other one was lodged. How do you x-ray a skull and not see a lodged bullet?
They're going to call it a boomerang bullet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, the problem here, I think, also is the police don't want to have to deal with an open case.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because they don't have anybody to even pin it on, or even to begin to start to look to pin it on. So
exactly.
I'm sure they took the path of least resistance too.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, suicide, they don't have to do anything else. And then with the amount of money that was probably put into this, they don't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I'm
for
with you.
$1 million, I will argue that they did their job.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of I was actually talking to Rachel about this before we jumped on. I really do think the world is going crazy when it comes to law and order, like that. The policing, and it's completely the inverse in the EU right now. One of the headlines was that a mother. Well, I mean, this is just it's a very biased article anyway.
Mhm.
But here's the gist of it without kind of getting into a bunch of political stuff. So there's this lady in the EU that has been jailed for posting on X. So there was a bunch of stabbings, or a serial stabbing in Southport. And because of those stabbings, this lady went on Twitter and said basically that people should be deported. And not basically, she did say that, and she said it very, very crass. So she's very like vulgar when she was saying it. And regardless of, it's like we always say, like, I would rather people be able to say what they want to, so that where people like where everybody stands ideologically.
Yeah.
But this lady posted it, and then they arrested her, and she did delete it, but they arrested her, and they're going to charge her, and she could get up to 2 years in prison for posting that on Twitter, that people should be deported. So it says that. Let me see if I can get the direct quote.
And
It says,
I will say, oh, you found it? Okay, cool.
yeah, after the Southport killings, she spoke of mass deportations and setting fire to asylum hotels. For all I care, I feel physically sick knowing that these Southport families will now, knowing what these Southport families will now have to endure. She said, if that makes me a racist, so be it.
And I will tell you, it's the setting fire to the asylums is what got her. And only because they've had these laws in the EU for about 10 years. If you make anything that's threatening or that can be perceived as threatening, it's punishable by 2 years in prison. Because a woman in Germany a few years ago.
It's still a thought crime, though.
Oh, I agree. I don't disagree with that.
Like,
yeah. But like I said, that's the thing. And it's actually law in place that you can be arrested for it.
I understand.
And I firmly agree with free speech, but I also am that person who says that does not make you free from the consequences of your speech.
I agree. It just shouldn't be jail. Like,
oh no.
I mean,
see, that's like, there's a restaurant here. I don't know if we talked about it last week, that posted on social media, hey, it's this weekend, if you're a married couple or a boyfriend, girlfriend, this, that, or the other, come on in. We've got a special prize for you. Okay, that would have been fine until his wife got on there and says, oh, but you better not be trans or gay or any of that crap, because we don't do that here. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass.
wow.
Well, they have basically...
I think people should be able to say that, because
that's right.
Their business can get shut down or whatever.
And that's pretty much what has happened, and it's not gay people that are shutting them down, it's straight people, because you're an asshole.
Well, yeah,
and that's what I said,
people
hey,
should
that's your
be
opinion,
allowed to show themselves. And
yeah, I mean, it sets a bad precedence, because if you have a hate speech law like this,
mm-hmm.
it starts with the crazy stuff like threatening violence on people and stuff, and then me off today, I'm gonna flick them in the ear. Then that turns into hate speech at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just evolves into like being ridiculous.
Well, somebody made a reference to Orwell, obviously, but her official charge was inciting racial hatred.
Yep.
But then, so same news cycle. I'm on the same website, or maybe not the same website. I'm on Google. Also in the EU, a mother who killed her baby in 1998 got a suspended sentence in the EU. And this is a weird one. So, a mother who killed her newborn baby in 1998 has been given a 2-year suspended prison sentence after a judge decided the case called for compassion. She was identified. Her name was Joanne Sharkey, or is. She was identified as the baby's mother in 2023 after cold case detectives found a DNA match for her older son, Matthew Sharkey, who had been arrested on suspicion of an unrelated offense. The newborn, who was named as Baby Callum at the time, had been dumped in a woodland in Warrington, Cheshire, wrapped in 2 trash bags on the 11th of March, 1998. She had pleaded guilty to manslaughter on grounds of diminished responsibility at Liverpool Crown Court after medical experts conclude her mental health is or was substantially impaired. Or was, I guess. So they're saying that her mental health was substantially impaired her ability to form a rational judgment when she killed her baby. She's now 55, was sentenced to 2 years in prison, which was later suspended, and she must undergo mental health treatment.
I want to know how they ascertained that she was substantially impaired 30 years ago. 30 years?
It had to be her lawyer or like testimony.
Right. I mean, but like I said, I can tell you, I don't even remember that. I don't remember doing that. And I could fake that shit. But to me, she deserves jail more than the one running her mouth.
Well, and that's what I wanted to just point out is like, it seems like they are really more interested in keeping the masses scared than actually prosecuting heavy crimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Putting somebody in jail over a tweet is going to instill more fear in the general public because everybody uses social media. Not everybody's out here killing their kids. You know what I mean?
Well, and okay, what's to say? Okay, you and I are having a conversation, and I'm like, you know what? That Cecil, I'm gonna whoop his ass because he's tall. Yada yada yada. And then me and you get into an argument, and you go report me for hate speech.
Exactly.
I mean, and you and Cecil are friends, so Cecil can back you and say, yes, she said that to my face, and I couldn't believe it.
But there ain't nothing that Cecil would be able to do to protect you at that point because it's the government coming after you.
Exactly.
So even though you were joking, and Cecil's like, hey, they were joking, they're my friend, the government could still throw you in jail for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, how many times have we gotten clipped on, how we word stuff, I mean, and that's just an algorithm stopping you. So, like I said, you put that into.
I was trying to read that very carefully a while ago, just in case it got clipped.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it seems like every week we're seeing somebody getting arrested over Facebook posts or Twitter posts somewhere in the EU. And it just keeps getting crazier. And honestly, if you were to see a post like this, like on TikTok or Instagram Reels or something, you'll see people from this country, or from not the United States, from these countries being like, we have freedom of speech, just not freedom of, how do they put it? Not freedom to offend.
Yeah.
And I just think it's absolutely bonkers to think about it like that.
I mean, you shouldn't offend people. Like, you really shouldn't. And who really cares what somebody else does or anything like that? But
that's it. If you're an adult, do you?
They're extremes to this stuff, and this sets a bad precedence. It really does.
I just can't believe, like, who wouldn't want to know what people are actually thinking?
Oh, that's what I've always said. You remember back a few years ago where they had the whole wedding cake thing that this bakery said, oh, we're not going to bake your cake because you're gay. And then, the gay couple ended up suing and won the case and everything. And I'm like, no, they shouldn't do that. But I think that you should have something on your door when you're going in. We don't serve these people. That way I know before I set foot in there.
So everybody can make an informed decision.
That's right. Exactly. Why waste my time and money if you're just going to insult me because you don't agree with my lifestyle?
Yeah.
Just be out. Hey, put it out there. Own it, damn it. I don't like tall people. You assholes.
Yes.
I mean,
I don't like
And then,
No,
but
I think we're on the same page. It really is nuts.
I think it
well, you
started with a good reason. Like it does. Like it's not good for people to even skim across and see racist stuff or prejudice stuff. But it leads to just abuse of that system. It does.
Yeah.
Every time.
Abuse, and eventually, like it's just like we were talking last week. If you start to silence these people, guess what they're going to do?
they come out of the woodwork.
They're
You
gonna.
know, you've got, say, I'm sorry.
It's going to lead to acts of violence.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say is something, like, okay, if one racist out of every 100 talks shit on social media, the other 100 are still going to stay back there and say, okay, yeah, I'm not going to get pissed at me. But if you start prosecuting that one person, those other 100 are going to come out of the woodwork to defend him.
Yeah.
And like you say, then you could very easily see yourself in a very, very scary situation.
Well, it's the same thing with the story from last week about preferential treatment in court based on skin color. Like that is absolutely an incitement of like racial violence at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. Like if you were to say that people with certain skin colors get harsher sentences or lighter sentences, that's just that's creating a kindling for some sort of future genocide of people.
Yeah.
But maybe we should get into a more funny. That was a serious rip, but I think we needed to talk about, especially the whistleblower.
Yeah.
So I don't know if either one of you want to take this, but there was a woman that was. Yeah. She has 5 men that she's in a relationship with, and she ordered the 5 men to kidnap a 6th man and torture him.
Wow.
Can I say something? And Cecil, after I say it, I want you to post this picture because obviously 2 of the men she's having a relationship with are father and son from the looks of them. And then number 3 and 4, I think could be brothers. They don't have the same name, but they look an awful lot alike.
Let me get the picture.
And she is not a beauty queen, people.
You don't have to be.
I know. You just gotta.
To anybody out there that thinks they can't find love, there's hope. She found 5, working on 6.
Dad, are willing.
What kind of game is she running, you think? This is her, Martina. Martina Jones. And this is Aaron Bradshaw and Austin Bradshaw.
This is all alleged, by the way. They haven't been, I don't think they've been charged yet.
These 2 right here are probably related. Then you got the Charles Manson of the crew right here, David Cessna, Chance Johnston, and Michael Isiki. I can't say that name. Isiki.
Esqueda.
Something
like that.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Do you want to continue or you want me to go with it?
No, go ahead. Hit it.
Okay. So they're facing multiple charges for allegedly kidnapping a 26-year-old man and torturing him. Police believe the victim was kidnapped on March 14th and held against his will at a Red Roof Inn. And it had to be a Red Roof Inn. We'll keep the door open. And they held him for over a week. During that time, the suspects allegedly beat the victim with a baseball bat, made him stand for extended periods of time, and only allowed him to eat and drink once a day. The victim only slept about 10 hours during the 7-day stretch. He was being essentially tortured, assaulted over the time frame of a week. His injuries were the results of being struck with a baseball bat, struck with fists, elbows, stomping on him when he was on the ground, which over time resulted in multiple fractured bones. Sproul went on to say that the suspects would let the victim out on occasion, and that's what eventually alerted police to the situation. Okay. If they let him out at any point in time, he should have been able to tell somebody. Anyway, so the victim was allowed to leave the room to go to a Speedway convenience store.
Maybe
when
it's
he was
like
there,
getting beat into a club or something. Maybe you got to get beat into the family.
Yeah, well, he said that while he was there, he made contact with an individual who got in contact with the victim's mother. Then the 26-year-old's mother raced to the Red Roof Inn to help her son. The police were called to the hotel. They obtained warrants and began watching the hotel, later arresting the 6 suspects. The victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive, but he had injuries all over his body. 1 woman, 5 men, again, arrested. It's unclear if the victim knew the suspects or if the alleged crime was at random. Charging documents did not disclose what led to the alleged kidnapping or possible motive. I think he turned her down. The police said early investigation revealed that the woman was the one calling the shots in the kidnapping and assault. Police said Jones ordered the men to beat and assault the victim, and they determined she has a romantic relationship with the 5 male suspects and has multiple children with them.
Whoa.
It's clearly a strange situation when you have multiple adult men involved in a relationship with a female and then this whole felonious assault kidnapping taking place. Definitely not something that is normally happening in our city, he said. They face a judge on... Suspects faced a judge on Monday. He set their bond at $200,000 apiece. All 6 were indicted by a grand jury. They are charged with 1 count of kidnapping, 3 counts of felonious assault, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence.
Wow. So if you're out there and you're a lady, and you feel like you can't find love, just know that Martina Jones is taking all of them, man.
This happened in Maumee, Ohio, by the way.
Maumee, Ohio.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Only in Ohio.
Only in Ohio for sure.
So I know we only got a few minutes left, but there's something that I definitely want to talk about because it's hot and heavy. So there, I actually didn't even put this in the list, but this week there was a mystery shipping container that washed up in Jamaica, and it was full of meat. And everybody, there's videos. I saved 3 videos. All 3 videos have been taken down, and I managed to find another one before the call, or before we jumped on, and sent it to Cecil. I don't. It's not that one, Cecil. It's the one. Yeah. So it shows people getting meat from the shipping container, and everybody's like, "Do not eat that meat," because they're like that's the next bioweapon.
Yeah.
Let's take a watch of it here.
I think the dude talks about it too in a minute.
It's chicken.
It was allegedly chicken, but it's hard to know. Like it's just all over. There's meat everywhere, and people are like, a refrigerated shipping container isn't just going to drop in the middle on a beach in Jamaica by accident.
And after we watch the clip, I have a comment.
All right. Here it is with sound.
I can't hear it. I don't think so.
Oh no, I did something wrong. Let me do this right.
It ain't no big deal if we can't get sound. We'll just talk about it some more afterwards.
I just forgot to turn on the sound.
Take that. Come.
Boy, y'all better put that motherfucking chicken back. Shipping container wash up on Jamaica with chicken in the motherfucker. Ain't that a bitch? Y'all know what they say about us liking chicken. That be pissing me off because everybody love them some motherfucking chicken. Love that chicken from Popeyes. But that chicken right there, y'all know what the fuck's in that motherfucker. I don't want you to bite into that motherfucker. Next thing you know, you're biting into somebody. It done turned you into a motherfucking zombie or diseases or whatever the fuck. You don't know where that chicken came from, so put that motherfucker back. Motherfucker can leave a basket of fruit and vegetables in front of my door. I open that motherfucker. Guess who ain't eating that shit? My motherfucking ass. You don't know these motherfuckers. You don't know where it came from. You probably think it came from God. God sent a shipping container through the ocean to give us some chicken. No. Fuck no. Ain't nobody claimed that chicken. You don't even know where the fuck that chicken came from. Put that chicken back. That's a big fact. That's some scary shit. And then, man, look. I don't know what's going on in Jamaica. I don't want you motherfuckers making no jerk chicken with that shit or none of that. I'm pretty sure y'all already got food there, dog. And somebody could be doing some shit trying to get y'all fucked up. And that's the first thing that would have popped in my motherfucking head if I was on the beach in a motherfucking shipping container where nothing but chicken came in that motherfucker. I would be like, nah, y'all fucking playing with me. You send a shipping container full of chicken where all black motherfuckers at. Huh? Think about that shit. Put the chicken back. Don't cook it. I don't give a fuck if it's not expired. Put it back. You trust motherfuckers too much. We all do with food, but this shit is different. It just washed up on the shore, dog. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I like him.
That was a great video.
Yes, I like
But,
him.
yeah, Larry has a good point. Jamaica is known for just chickens walking freely. So
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't touch that chicken.
no, and let me tell you a little short story. Okay. There was a point where Mo shipped from port to port to port to port to port in his job, and they would take something up north and then bring chicken back to the port to be shipped overseas. And you had these, dock workers out there. They went, oh man, we dropped a box of chicken. Well, we got to throw this one out. Hey man, here's you 10 pounds. If it was chicken that was bound for Russia and they dropped one and busted it, they would kick it off into the water or throw it in the trash. They would not touch it. And told drivers, man, don't ever take any of that chicken. If it's going to Russia, leave it. Now, they never said why, but that's awful damn fishy for dock workers around the country to feel that way.
What are the odds of a shipping container full of chicken that isn't expired? I assume that when they say expired, like it wasn't smelling bad, like it was fresh.
Right.
Just washing up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's shady. I wouldn't touch it either.
It's probably like some new testing for a bioweapon, honestly.
Yeah. Or the next pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because Jamaica is a huge tourist area also.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Mm-hmm. And it's coming up, like the tourist season.
Absolutely.
Well, if something pops off, you heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't take raw food from the sea, you know what I mean? Unless
Well, you can, but it's called fish.
Yeah.
Fish comes from the sea.
I get that, like it hit in probably a poor area, but Jesus Christ, like that, those are the most vulnerable people.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
ones most. Yeah. And like I said, the ones that would most likely take it because I'm hungry. My kids are hungry.
Yeah. Well, that's also why they run all of these, test all the medicines in third world countries for the same reasons. Like they can't afford to say no.
Yeah.
Well, I hope whoever eats it, I hope it turns out to be fine.
Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I'm
shady. That's some shady stuff.
But
yeah, we might as well wrap it up. It's 7:45. We got a late start. Sorry about that. Tully was telling us about his new haircut.
It wasn't that late. we were within a minute of start time.
So, what's going on Weird Awakenings tonight?
We are talking about Planet X and Nibiru.
Scares me. I don't want to listen to it. No, go check it out. That's coming on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific. And tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. to watch us wherever you watch us at.
Go follow us on Rumble. Follow us on BitChute if you're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like people on BitChute. And let's see. I guess that's about it. Thank you all for watching us because we are watching you.
See.